Noam Chomsky, your response.
This deification of Reagan is extremely interesting and a very, scandalous, but it tells a lot about the country. I mean, when Reagan left office, he was the most unpopular living president, apart from Nixon, even below Carter. If you look at his years in office, he was not particularly popular. He was more or less average. He severely harmed the American economy. When he came into office, the United States was the world's leading creditor. By the time he left, it was the world's leading debtor. It's fiscally totally irresponsible. Wild spending, no fiscal responsibility. Government actually grew during the Reagan years. He was also a passionate opponent of the free market. I mean, the way he's being presented is astonishing. He was the most protectionist president in post-war American history. He essentially virtually doubled protective barriers to try to preserve incompetent U.S. management, which was being driven out by superior Japanese production. During his years, we had the first major fiscal crises. During the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the New Deal regulations were still in effect, and that prevented financial crises. The financialization of the economy began to take off in the 70s, but with the deregulation, of course, you start getting crises. Reagan left office with the biggest financial crisis since the Depression, the home savings and loan. I won't even talk about his international behavior. I mean, it was just abominable. I mean, if we gained our optimism by killing hundreds of thousands of people in Central America and destroying any hope for democracy and freedom, and supporting South Africa while it killed about 1.5 million people in neighboring countries, and on, if that's the way we get back our optimism, we're in bad trouble. Well, what happened after Reagan left office is that there was the beginnings of an effort to carry out a kind of with this Reagan legacy, you know, to try to create from this really quite miserable creature some kind of deity. And amazingly, it succeeded. I mean, Kim Il-sung would have been impressed. The events that took place when Reagan died, you know, the Reagan legacy, this Obama business, you don't get that in free societies. It would be ridiculed. What you get it is in totalitarian states. I mean, I'm waiting to see what comes next. This morning, North Korea announced that on the birthday of the current god, a halo appeared over his birthplace. That'll probably happen tomorrow over Reagan's birthplace. But when we go and, I mean, this is connected with what we were talking about before. If you want to control a population and keep them passive, keep beating them over the head and let them look somewhere else, the one way to do it is to give them a god to worship.
No,